Residential tenants' bond life has changed, and one of the biggest pinch points was your bond when you're moving out of one place and going into the next place. The New South Wales government has introduced a new solution for it. Stay tuned, we're going to tell you all about it. Cleo Witt here, expert property manager of over 20 years. Good morning.
Good morning, Mark. How are you?
Yeah, really good, really good. Hey, bond life's changed. What the hell's happening? What's going on here?
So they've just rolled out, as of the 1st of August, they're trialling three suburbs where tenants can now transfer their bonds from one property to another. So they don't have to pay a new bond when they go to somewhere else whilst they're waiting for their old bond to be returned. That's been rolled out in Penrith, Central Coast, and there was one other. Penrith, Central Coast,
Parramatta.
Campbelltown. I don't know. It's out that way. It's Parramatta. Sorry, yes, Parramatta. So
Parramatta.
Parramatta, Penrith, Central Coast. There you go.
Wow. So, what does this mean? So, well, first of all, what does it mean, and why is it being introduced?
I think it's to relieve a bit of cost of living pressure for tenants having to produce another 4 weeks rent up front whilst they wait for their 4 weeks that's held at the bond board anyway. So they're making it easier for tenants to move around essentially. If the bond is higher, then they just pay a top up. And there is a $25 fee to transfer your bond. So you have to be online as well. Well, all bonds are online now, but tenants have an online bond account. And what they will do is when getting accepted for a new property, they will elect to transfer their bond from their current rental to the new rental and pay $25 to do so.
And is this a good thing for landlords and property managers?
Well, the websites say that no changes will affect landlords and agents in that claiming process if there's a dispute regarding the property at the end. So what essentially is happening is, say, for example, I am a tenant and I move out and I owe $800 worth of outstanding rent and I want that to come out of the bond money from my previous rental. If it's agreed upon, the agent will put through the claim or the tenant. I don't know which way it's going to work, but either way, agreeing parties say, yes, 800 can go to the agent. And then the government pays that 800 to the agent and the tenant gets invoiced the $800 and they have a time to pay for it. So any agreed upon claim from a tenant and an agent, landlord, the government, as in the bond board, pays the agent and then the tenant owes that money to the bond board. This is with the bond that's already been transferred. So
This is revolutionary. This is the first I've heard about this.
well, that's why you've got me, so I can share the news that's already passed for almost a month now.
Wow. But I guess you're getting better and better as the weeks go by with understanding it as well. So, okay. So the outgoing
There is a grey
agent.
area. There's a grey area.
Okay, before we get to the grey area,
Okay.
can I just repeat that just to make sure it's right in my head? The outgoing agent on the outgoing property of the current tenant, they have an agreement of $800. Like, okay, that's going to come out of your bond.
Mm-hmm.
So the tenant with their outgoing property and their outgoing bond sign it all up. They pay $25, and then they make an application on the ingoing bond, saying, okay, well, it's all going to get transferred $25, and then the government will chase the the outgoing the tenant for that $800. So then the current landlord ain't chasing nothing.
No. So what happens is you can't transfer a bond where there's a claim already in place. So if an agent already has a claim or a dispute with the previous bond, you can't transfer. What that essentially means is tenants will start transferring their bonds earlier
Damn.
prior to any anticipated dispute with the current agent, current property.
Well,
So
how can a
I'm a
claim be
tenant.
made against a bond before they've even moved out?
Yeah, they're going to transfer their bond to the new approved property before they've moved out. 100%. And then what's
Well,
going to happen is, I love how they say the word approved claim. So when an agent now has a bond in place and they do an outgoing and they know there's going to be a conflict, what that agent will do is they will claim an amount straight away before the tenant, because a lot of the time going to NCAT's a nuisance, and for the sake of say $300, the tenant will go, you know what, I'm not fighting the agent, they can have the 300, right? So if it's a big amount, of course you're going to, or any amount, you're going to justify it. But sometimes it's a race to who's going to put that first claim in, because the first person that puts the claim in is the applicant. It's up to the respondent, the second person, to fight it at NCAT to resolve that money. Now, if a tenant is allowed to transfer their bond before they've moved out and it's already transferred, and an agent then wants to claim their $800, there is no race for that bond because it's already transferred. There'll be a debt, but that's only if NCAT agree on it. So essentially, we're going to be held up at NCAT a lot more. That's what I see in the future with these transfers of bond. Anytime you want to claim something, the tenant doesn't agree, you're going to go to NCAT every single time. Whereas 50% of the time, the agent puts in the claim, the tenants consider their options and they go, you know what, just have the money. I can't be bothered fighting for $400 or $200 or $80 worth of cleaning. Whereas now we'll have to fight for every single claim that we want if the tenant doesn't sign up on it.
for our landlords.
Mm-hmm.
So a complicated process is being made easier. And in order to make it easier, they're making it more complicated. I like it.
It's a one, recipe for
Good luck. Must be
disaster. Well, who
nice.
knows? Yeah. Well, watch this space. It hasn't rolled out here exactly, but when
It's,
they
you
say the
know,
word approved, I mean, when is it always approved? Like, it's only if it's rent arrears where a tenant agrees on the claim. So if it's something like, they've owed a bit of rent at the end, yes, that's an approved amount. But if they don't agree to the chip wall or the stain, or there's nothing's going to be approved, and the tenants, the agents and the landlords will always have to go down to NCAT, because that money is no longer there. It's with the government. And for the government to pay it out to you, Mr. Landlord and Agent, you're going to fight for that, because we're not just going to give you that money.
can you just
So
clear this up for me a little bit? And you may not be able to, but I'll ask. I
go for
still
it.
don't get. I still don't get on the anniversary. I still don't get on a tenant exiting in the property. That's when a dispute will be raised with cleaning, repair,
Yep.
maintenance, or whatever. But in this application process for transferring your bond, none of that has actually materialized until the tenant's moved out. So, how do you anticipate what's going to materialize when the tenant moves out?
Exactly. That's the
That,
confusing part. Is it going to be, and these are, like I said, these are new laws. Are you only able to transfer a bond when your vacate date has expired? But most tenants get approved before they've finished up on their tenancy. Most tenants look at properties and get approved 2-3 weeks before they move out of their current rental. So I am of the understanding that they can transfer and apply to transfer their bond before they've vacated. And then you would then, as the agent, have to allow it, because there is no disputing process as yet, because they haven't moved out. That's the problem. That's where property managers are like, what? How is this going to work? This is crazy. We need that bond in place, held at the bond board until the tenant vacates. I understand helping tenants move freely and not having to come up with double money, but it's not offering security for our clients, and that's what the bond's meant for.
I'm
So
sure if the government's implemented it, must be right.
well, after the last Albo speech, I'm not so convinced with that. But yeah, I don't know. I
What's the
really
saying? No good deed goes unpunished. So the intentions are good.
yes.
Hopefully, it's going to help all of our tenants out there, which is great. How we're going to do it, we would have liked by now to know how, if we're if we're going to be implementing it. But hopefully, we'll get some more firmer and solid instructions when it gets introduced to the greater real estate community, property managers, tenants, landlords. So stay tuned, everyone. We'll report how it's going. And if you want to know more, this is the Smart Bonds Fair Trading
Other side.
other
The other
side.
side, Mark. Yeah, there you go.
This is actually not on my screen. It's here.
Yeah, but when we're looking at it, it's like the mirror opposite.
Okay, so here it is. So here it is, and check it out. And that's exactly where you'll find out more about it on the government website. So thanks, Clara. Thanks for clearing it up.
Well, it's clear as mud as
As
it is right now.
as clear as we can get. Thank you, legend. Have a great day.
Bye.
Hope we help
You
you,
too.
everyone. Bye. Bye.